name is Jake Mace, a vegan athlete. I'm here in the Phoenix area in Arizona. I used to live on this street when I was in my early mid-20s. And every time I drive down this street here in Phoenix, I would marvel at this one property that had a block wall on the busy street. And their block wall is full of planter boxes. All of these plants I'm touching are growing, and these planter boxes are right against the block wall. So if you go back further and further, we'll see a wide variety of plants and flowers that are all growing on a wall. I gotta meet the person or the people who are building these planter boxes. So let's go meet today, and we'll see what the deal is with these awesome raised bed plants. Hey, I'm Jake. Nice to meet you, Jake. Wait, here. I'm Alex with Flower Street Gardens. You guys all the time people see your raised bed and wall and like, yeah, our vertical gardens really draw a lot of attention. And we try to keep them up really nice and unique design. Literally, we get people stopping here every day inquiring about gardens. And so we call them vertical gardens. The vertical gardens are living walls. That's so cool, living wall. I mean, you just basically made spaces that only aren't guardable to make something that is not really appealing to the eye, to dress it up, give it that beauty, and also in that way it made it really accessible. They're handicap accessible. They're good for elderly. You don't have to bend over. They're good for children. Pets don't get them. So there's a ton of different reasons why people purchase and love gardens. All right, so behind me is your house. This is our house, and you got a garden growing out the wall of your house. I love it. Tell me about it. Well, this is really the garden that started Flower Street Gardens. 4 years ago, my father moved in with us, and I wanted him to be able to garden, have an activity that he couldn't bend over to work in the raised beds or anything like that was going to be out of the question. And my background's in design, and I started looking. I thought this would be a perfect wall to do a vertical garden, living wall. I started looking online, and what I found was either really expensive, they were super complicated, they weren't deep enough to grow edibles in, or some of them were just ugly. And I figured I could do this. You're a DIY kind of guy. Yeah, it took me about 3 days to start from an idea, a concept, to be growing food in it. This is a 5-tier unit. Yeah, show you this thing. This is there's actually 4 units put together here. There's 3 facing the south, and then we have a special bracket for the outside corner, and then we have a 4th unit here. This is 120 square feet of growing space. Wow, I mean, it's crazy. It's on the wall. It's on the wall. It looks like on the main street where pedestrians are. You've got mostly no edibles that are in there. Well, that's not necessarily true. Most of that out there we're going to be harvesting. Those are sweet potatoes. Oh, yeah, they're great. Those are sweet potatoes. So we will get into the greens edible or potatoes you can grow like taking away. But you know, to me, we're going to put lettuce, kale, a lot of greens out there, nasturtium for here the next week or so when it just drops down a little bit more. And you know, I want people to take that. If someone needs the food and or they want to take that food, it's all there. The interesting thing that's happened out there before we have those gardens, like monthly that wall was tagged. We have to call the graffiti hotline. They kind of hang it. Knock on wood. That hasn't been tagged once in 4 years of those out there. And I really think people like you, engineers and people like you in charge of the world, you guys think of solutions to problems. I truly believe that the community sort of owns those gardens out there. We hear about them all the time. People look at them, they drive by to see the changes in gardens, and so there's always a set of eyes out there overlooking and saying, hey, we're down with those gardens. Yeah, so on the street you got sweet potatoes and other items. On the top you got aloe vera and succulents. You got some succulents, there's some peppers, there's plants, silver. This is live like burn. Oh, really? That smells really good. It smells great, and we use that for teas. We've got rosemary. There's this plant here. You plant it once in your garden, and that's like the end of planting it. It's called azote. It's a lot of people use this in their beans and food. Exactly. It does help the stomach. It has a weird sort of, to me, it has like a petroleum taste to it when you taste the actual herbs or the leaves, the seeds, but it doesn't have that kind of taste at all. And you taste gas out of the neighbor's car. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. When you cook it, that goes away. You don't taste that at all. So sometimes you taste plants, and then when you cook them, they really change. One of the things we've learned from a lot of chefs that we work with their gardens is, you know, there's all these different mints around the market, chocolate mint, pineapple mint, all these different kinds of mint. They never want those. They want the mint. It's called the best mint. The best, yeah. And that one, because it's predictable in flavor when it's heated, when it's dried, when it's muddled, it's very predictable. These other ones just aren't, and it can have some weird off taste to them. Yeah, I love the chocolate mint, but I would imagine a professional chef, they want that ability of mint flavor. Exactly. So the best mint. It's actually called the best mint. Is one that you guys grow for all your chefs restaurants. That's what they require. So every restaurant in town can see if we turn their building into a food source if they grow with your plants like this. Yeah, what we really concentrate on with the restaurants is more the microgreens and the herbs. Because that's something that can really come out, get some fresh herbs, put that onto the plate to finish off the dish. Some of the plants they just don't produce quite quickly enough for a restaurant, and there's no doubt that this is going to be able to supply their needs. But it's going to enhance them. Right. Tell me why it works. Okay, the whole concept is with the gardens is, if you look right in here, we manufacture these food grade liners that are in each one, and I'll show you a little bit better on another unit too. So this is EPA free. And the only thing that really break that down is exposure to sun, but it's not exposed to sun because of the wood and soil. Yeah, totally. Also back here, the liners, they have small perforations for drainage. This corrugated material that's attached to the back board here, it will catch the water and it will ensure the water doesn't get on the structure that the garden's placed on. And we'll repurpose and recycle that water. So your water is not going to rot, because that takes water and literally makes it trickle down. It does. It's that will trickle down, and then on the very bottom, it has stainless steel wire that just keeps it elevated, so it won't drip onto the foundation, so you don't get stained with it. So you guys just want the top line and all kind of trickle down to the successive beds. Well, it really would be the most efficient way to water. These are all hooked up to irrigation, and 3/4 line. The same raised beds, but the only difference is because the top level doesn't get drainage. There's an entire loop of that irrigation on these bottom layers or bottom tiers. It's just water. And we want to place that just front to center because you're going to get the drainage water out there, and that's how the system balances. And these boards are not screwed together. We're just using pressure. They're slid in there. So you actually slide board out right, it breaks. Exactly. So they're meant to be a long-term, serviceable, easy garden. A block from this was a mental health and drug rehabilitation center for low-income people. So we've seen people in the worst conditions coming up and down the street when we're out there working on it, and it gives us a lot of pleasure because they'll thank us. They say, "When I treatment, I look forward to walking past your garden." Because your one residence is like a word of walking down the street. It helps them get to the treatment that they need. So this living wall over the garden has some shade because your country is massive. Yeah, and you put strawberries and you're just planting strawberries out for the fall season. Yeah, and the whole idea behind the gardens and the shape of the gardens, the higher the sun is in the sky, the more the lower layers are protected. Okay. And as the sun drops into the southern skies, it opens up more sun. Right. Plus, this tree is going to lose all its leaves here in about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on the weather. And then during the coldest part of the winter, it's going to get all that great sun. And because it's on the house, it's going to get some warmth from the house. But the other thing that's really cool that I'll post some photos is when we do the frost pop up, we put up the fascia and it's like a giant curtain that hangs over the top. So these end caps are literally just wedged in there. When we first put the gardens together, there's a little gap between the rays of this curve and the top board. Okay. Now what we want to do is just, there's a right and left side to the end cap. Just line up your end cap and you pull that up, and it's held in with friction and tension. That's in there. Oh, got it in there pretty good. It's in there really good. It's not gonna fall off, but then you could put a pin nail or a screw or something. But to me, it's easier just letting it be this way because in a few years, if you want to change out your soil, you literally pop off the end cap, take out the plant, and you can slide the whole liner out, soil and all. Okay. Or if you need to replace the board, you can slide the boards in and out of the garden as well to replace the board if you ever need to. You got patent pending on stuff. Is that cool design? We are patent pending onto it. Hopefully that will be finalized in the next few months. It's been a long process. Yeah, sure. And so it's a great idea. Very sexy, very clean, very well thought out, and it's so traditional soil in there. You're doing by the way. Exactly, and it just makes gardening easy. Now this wall, if you look at it, it's rustic, artistic. It's all be perfect. Tell me about this. How'd you build it? Well, actually, I did. It was a gift. Oh, the story was this. Is last January we got a call from a production company out of Atlanta. It was doing a big event here at one of our resorts for a customer in Scottsdale. They built these walls in Atlanta. So all this wood is wood you wouldn't necessarily see here in the West. It's all East Coast kind of species. They contracted us to build vertical succulent gardens that were attached to these walls. They had to be there for 3 days, and after the 3 days, the guy was like, "Do you want these?" But not join them. I had no idea what I was going to do with them. But I ended up putting up this first wall here as a screen wall from all my junk and my work here. Now it's a partition that helps people in your garden see your little like landscape. It's really not about people because my yard's really not. Okay, so you appreciate the flow. I really appreciate it. So I put these up, and it was really all repurposed. These posts back here. Those are actually like utility posts. That's exactly what they are. They're cross beams that hold up the electrical lines. I had a bunch of those for being the little tree fort that I made. I only had piled here for years, and obviously I've been using clay for a while. So we had those, and I actually needed 3 more. And sometimes when you put that out to the universe comes back and conspires to help you. Yeah. And after I decided what we're actually doing is being converted into a new permanent chicken coop. Oh, this is going to be the chicken coop. We've got the root structure over the nesting boxes are going to be here. The feed area is going to be over there. But the funny thing was I needed 3 more of these posts. And 2 days after I decided I was going to do this, that's our key knocked on my door. The local power company, and they said, "You know what? We need to have access to your front yard. Can we replace the telephone pole?" And I said, "Hey, like, one down, 2 to go." And they said, "So are you placing any more in there?" "Yeah, one across the street." And now we have 2. I needed 3. So they just gave them. They don't haul them off. So they gave them to me, and it has to be everything's gonna. It's going to be an awesome chicken coop. We want to expand that. You have friends and family that want eggs, and so we'll be able to produce a little bit more and have more product to fertilizer gardens and stuff with this. Maybe put some of your vertical gardening outside. That's the thought too. Yeah, so thank you for your wisdom, experience, knowledge, and this is so cool. And this one's full of every one of them is unique and beautiful and right. And this is sort of our take on the middle box, and still some of the edible theme here with the. It's one of my favorite things to add to a salad. To me, it tastes like a mild sour apple with a little salt on it. Elder food is member of person. Yeah, they are really. That's amazing. Very similar. Thanks again for Flower Street Gardens. And all people watch that. I can find more about your website. It's flowerstreetgardens.com. There's a lot of videos on there. Some of the different projects that we've done. If you purchase a garden, you want to know how to install it. We've got installation videos. We show all the content. So that's really helpful. Then also you can follow us on Facebook at Flower Street Gardens. I'll put it on the description below on screen right now. But you also have a YouTube channel with a few videos, some ideas from see more about Shane video form. Exactly. You can right here. We got a direct link on our website too, so you just click on that and take you right to our social media. Yeah, that's fantastic. I enjoyed it. So amazing. Amazing. I gotta come back and see how things go about season. And now it has my 41st year on those, so I'm back in Hong. We're really around here. Yeah, I'm starting to see your vertical garden in different installations, schools, restaurants, businesses, and homes all around town. So yeah, one of the ones I'm most proud of is we did a really cool installation at the Arizona Veterans Hospital. And they use it for garden therapy because it's something you can get your hands on. We all just assume there's such a connection with the plant world, and then you throw food in there and just grow. There's even more connection. Absolutely. That's fantastic. And those people are watching right now, we've got another tip for everybody how to plant seeds very effectively. There's a different video, which is right down here at the bottom right now. So click on the video down there. It'll take you to this amazing little tip that's going to give us how you plant seeds in his raised bed garden, so they're for sure to germinate. And nice great tip. Super fun and easy. Check it out. Thank you.